Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Business ethics, it's not just some dry subject you have to get through in college. Think of it more like a toolkit, one that helps you navigate the really tough decisions, the kind that can totally make or break your career. So today, we're going to build that toolkit together. So let's just dive right in with a question that gets to the absolute heart of it. This isn't some abstract thought experiment, okay? This is the kind of dilemma that pops up in real boardrooms, in real companies every single day. And how you answer it? Well, that depends entirely on the ethical tools you got to work with.
All right, let's start building that toolkit. When you're staring down a tough ethical call, there are basically two fundamental ways you can look at it. You can think of them as two different kinds of compasses. One points you towards the rules, and the other points you toward the results.
This slide lays it out perfectly. On one side, you've got what's called teleology. Let's call that the calculator. It's all about weighing the outcomes to figure out the best possible result. Then on the other side, you have deontology, which is more like a rule book. It's about following a set of duties and principles, no matter what the consequences are.
So let's look at that calculator approach first, teleological ethics. The core idea here is actually pretty simple, but it's really powerful. An action is morally right if it creates more overall happiness or good than any other choice you could have made. You're trying to look at the big picture, calculating the greatest good for the greatest number of people.
And this quote really gets to the core of this results-based way of thinking. This calculation isn't about what makes you happy, not at all. It's about stepping back, being an impartial spectator, and choosing the path that maximizes happiness for everyone who's affected. It's a very social way of looking at what's right and wrong.
Okay, now let's switch gears and look at the rulebook perspective. This is deontology, and the big name here is Immanuel Kant. With this approach, you basically throw the consequences out the window. Certain actions are just right or wrong because of a universal set of rules or duties. For someone following this, lying is wrong, period. It doesn't matter if the lie could lead to a good outcome. For Kant, and this is the crucial part, your motive is everything. A truly moral act isn't just one that happens to follow the rules. It's one you do because it's your duty. You do the right thing simply because it is the right thing to do. The intention behind the action is what really counts.
Okay, so theory's great. We've got our two main tools in the toolkit, the calculator and the rulebook. Now, let's put them to the test in a real-world scenario that businesses have to deal with all the time, insider trading.
So what exactly is insider trading? Well, at its core, it's all about an unfair advantage. It's when someone uses confidential information they only have because of their job, to make a personal profit in the stock market. It's an advantage that you and I, the general public, just don't have.
This slide breaks it down really well. First, you've got access to that key non-public info. Second, you take action based on it to make money. And third, all of this gives you an unfair advantage. So how do our two ethical frameworks see this? Well, from the results perspective, insider trading destroys public trust in the market. That hurts the whole economy, a really bad outcome for the greatest number. From a rules perspective, it's even simpler. It violates a fundamental duty of fair play. It's just cheating.
But problems like insider trading don't just happen in a vacuum. They're often a symptom of a company's culture, and that culture is shaped by this constantly changing relationship between companies and their employees. So let's zoom out for a second and look at the bigger picture of how work has changed. This timeline is fascinating. Really, it shows this huge shift in what we expect from work. Look at the 1940s and 50s. Loyalty to the company was everything. But fast forward to today, and what do people value? Things like flexibility, learning, new opportunities. Loyalty isn't just a given anymore. It has to be earned. And one of the best ways a company can earn it is by building a genuinely strong ethical culture. Which brings us right to the modern solution. See, it's not enough to just have a list of rules to keep from getting sued. The best companies, the ones that really thrive, proactively build a culture based on a shared set of core values. It's about defining the very character of the organization.
And these are the kinds of values that become the foundation of that strong culture. We're talking things like customer service, innovation, quality, but they aren't just words on a wall. They become the guiding principles for every single decision. And it's no surprise that, as you see here, ethics and integrity are often right there in the middle, holding all the other values together.
But here's the catch. Values on a poster are completely meaningless. The real work is making them come to life. First, you've got to identify them clearly. Then you have to communicate them over and over again. And, maybe most importantly, you have to align the entire company with them.
Are you promoting people who actually live these values? Are your bonus systems in sync? That's when values stop being a statement and start becoming a living, breathing culture.
So, we've looked at the tools, we've looked at the real-world problems, and we've looked at the culture. But at the end of the day, why does all this stuff truly matter? Let's bring it all together for the final takeaway.
I think this quote just nails the modern soul of business ethics. A company isn't just some private machine for making shareholders rich. It's a part of society. It's a joint effort that affects everyone: employees, customers, the whole community. And that means its responsibilities are so much broader than just the bottom line.
And that brings it all right back to you. The theories are useful, the corporate mission statements are nice, but ultimately, it's your personal values that get tested on the job. So when that moment comes for you, what's going to be your guide? The rulebook or the calculator?